GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.
Hello and welcome to Galata Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about Lijo Pellissery's hallucinatory Malaikottai Vaaliban. The film is a warrior story that subverts how we see warrior stories on screen. Once upon a time, there lived a bored warrior, a man whose name echoes all across lands, as the movie says, and yet he is a man who suffered from a loss of purpose. All he wanted was a worthy challenge, so he went from place to place in his bullock cart with his mentor and his mentor's son to duel with other fierce warriors. But look at what happened the first time he sought out one such challenge. That is, the first time we see him seeking such a challenge. The opponent was big and beefy, he was built like a mountain, and he existed on a protein-stacked diet of raw eggs. But our warrior, who appears to exist solely on arak, blew the man away like a fart. He could barely hide his boredom, his contempt. In fact, he could not even bring himself to get up from his sitting pose as he sent this man packing. And he must have thought to himself, is there no one to give me a true challenge and shake me out of my slumberous existence? Strip away the man's existential crisis and the premise of a warrior seeking worthy challenges sounds like an Indian folk tale. But note Prashant Pillai's very anachronistic score, the twang of a bass guitar, a whistle that sounds like wind echoing through a Sergio Leone desert, and note the very funny aftermath to this early action scene which sets up Lijo Pellissery's Malaikottai Vaaliban. The great warrior, called Vaaliban and played by Mohanlal, yanks out a stone tablet inscribed with the exploits of the man he just vanquished, and he hurls it into the sky like a discus throw or a javelin throw. The tablet lands far, far away amidst a lonely goatherd and his goats. The puzzled man goes to inspect the item that has apparently just fallen from the sky, and then he looks up and raises his hands as though saying, "Thank you, God." It's hugely funny, and it reminded me of this ginormous 1980s South African hit, The Gods Must Be Crazy, where a desert tribe sees a Coca-Cola bottle drop from an airplane and thinks it's a gift from the gods. Now, I don't know if Lijo was thinking particularly about The Gods Must Be Crazy, which was a film I saw when I was growing up, but he was surely thinking about the fantastical films he saw while he was growing up. The very title sounds like a mashup of Malaikkallan and Malaikottai Vaaliban. There is a Spartacus-like slave revolt, there is an homage to the Haan Jab Tak Hai song sequence from Sholay, where Hema Malini is asked to dance on broken glass in front of the man she loves, who is chained to pillars. And into this, Lijo drops in a belly dancing equivalent to Helen from the Mehbooba song sequence from the same film. There are inspirations from Kurosawa, from Leone, Sergio Leone, and the Hong Kong Shaolin martial arts movies. I loved that pose of Vaaliban resting on an inclined pole mid-fight. Only Lijo can fully enumerate the references and appropriations in this film, but one point that quickly emerges is that Malaikottai Vaaliban is not a regular film about a warrior, like say, Oru Vadakkan Veeragatha. This is not a naturalistic movie with, say, well-written characters and so forth. It is a hallucinatory epic. Its style is part of its very substance. Take a look at how Danish Seth plays, or how he is made to play a villain named Chamantakan. This villain is compared to a snake, so we hear the hiss of a rattlesnake in the background, and his main weapon in a crucial moment is poison. Even all this can be treated as naturalistic, but Lijo takes us to a realm where Chamantakan opens his mouth and rattles his tongue as though mimicking an actual snake. In other words, there is a gestural performative aspect to the whole movie where nothing is real. The way I read the story is like this. Vaaliban faces a number of challenges, each one more difficult than the other, and these challenges are presented in a mass movie style with full-on slow motion and non-narrative diversions and hero worshipping and outrageous heroics. It's like watching an athlete blockbuster based on a Panchatantra story. Vaaliban gets through all these challenges with increasing difficulty. He still emerges victorious, and then he gets what he really wants. He gets that one challenge he has been waiting for. And in the last half hour or so, Lijo does something fantastic and fantastical. So far, we have been watching a mass movie based on physical challenges, and now Vaaliban is faced with an emotional challenge that shakes the roots of his existence and also sets up the sequel. You can think of everything from Rajnikant discovering who his mother is in Talapati to Luke Skywalker discovering who his father is in the Star Wars Enterprise. The action gives way to serious drama, and the film shifts from mass mode to masala storytelling. Vaaliban is fond of saying, what the eye sees is the truth, what remains unseen is a lie. But towards the end, he realizes that the truth about him is something he never saw. All that he had been seeing with his eyes, that was the lie. The last portion carries a serious emotional charge, but the film does not build to it in a normal way. And this is a given, of course, because Lijo does not do normal. I like the deliberate pacing, which makes us feel that we have been transported to a timeless time. This gives the film the space to hold Madhu Neelakantan's shots and Lijo's choreography for a long time. There is a stunning dissolve effect where slaves running out of prison look like ghosts, and all this artifice is heightened by the deliberate use of colors, like red in a bloody battle in a Portuguese colony, I think, and yellow in an episode with masks. Each segment feels like a self-contained chapter. The first fight with an opponent, the second fight with a bigger opponent, the third and even bigger fight with an even bigger opponent, the fourth and the biggest fight with the self. We know that each of these chapters follow one another, but cinematically speaking, and the way Lijo crafts them, they exist as their own little universes with their own rules, their own rhythms, and their own colors. The frames within the frames, the stage play-like sets and costumes, a key female character is introduced as a silhouette, and especially the dialogues create an effect that is at once distancing and magnetic. Early on, a woman that Vaaliban is with speaks of their parting, but she shapes the speech like a fable, and the actors we see in this fable are Vaaliban and this woman. Later, a trans woman tells her employer a fable about a love triangle, and this time the fable transforms into actual events on screen. We are never immersed in this world. We are always aware that we are watching a movie, one that throws anything and everything into the mix. There's a Lavani dance sequence, there is a peacock crown, there's a deranged and delightful Roberto Rodriguez style action set piece involving a contraption with multiple cannons that is way too cool. Among the conventional as in non-abstract pleasures of movie watching, we get a deftly delineated romance between Vaaliban's master's son and a woman who limps to get attention. As character sketches, there isn't much, but Manoj Moses and Kathanandi transport us into the world of these lovers, especially in a gorgeous minimalistic duet. Amidst the cows and goats and donkeys, the actors find their space. Manikandan Acharya as a slave steals the few scenes he is in. I enjoyed Sonali Kulkarni's performance as a seductive dancer who violates the rules of her kind when she allows herself to fall in love. And Harish Peradi as the master mouths his rhetorical lines with the hammy confidence of a pre-cinema stage actor. He really sells his final scenes where his character gets precedence over the hero. What he narrates is the final fable in this narrative, and it's a marvelous one. The film, of course, is owned by the hero and his director. Mohanlal registers in every single way as a still presence, as a near superhuman warrior, and as a human being who sighs that his destiny will not allow him to fall in love. This is a winking performance, one that knows that it is a performance. It is not invisible and internalized, but thrown at us with quiet power. As for Lijo, he has made a warrior story that looks and feels nothing like a warrior story. For all the battles and the romances and the drama, what we get is a singular eccentric vision. Does it come together fully? I'm not sure. There are portions I'm still trying to put together in my head, like with Churuli. There are other portions that I did not connect to as much as I would have liked to, but I couldn't tear my eyes off the screen, always wondering what new subversion lies in store. I liked Malaikottai Vaaliban a lot, but unlike Nanpagal Nerathu Maikam, I'm not going to label this an instant classic or a masterpiece or any such thing. I'm just going to call it a quintessential Lijo Joe's Pellissery film, and for now, that is enough praise. So that's it about Malaikottai Vaaliban. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galata Plus, and see you soon at the movies.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.